Hey, welcome to When Nerds Talk, where we talk about pop culture, life experiences, and video games. I am Ruin Hatter. I stream over on twitch.tv/Ruin Hatter.
I'm Fuzo Adams, aka Cushington Bear. I don't really stream much. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of guy, but I do have my finger in a little bit of everything media. So this should be a good time. I'm excited.
My name is Big D2. I stream right here on this channel. We play a variety of games here. I also create content on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. So, and this is our first podcast. So we're pretty excited about this. And all right, let's do this, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I think that this is a conversation we can probably get started since each one of us has one, and they're fairly popular nowadays. Is the old beard?
Yes. So I guess I will begin with this topic since everyone always comments how glorious.
Look at that thing! My goodness, I'm getting jealous just looking at it.
Yeah, this thing is huge. All right, so a little background on my beard. I started growing a beard maybe 5 or 6 years ago, kind of as a joke, because I moved back to Chicago from living in Albuquerque at the time. And in Albuquerque, it doesn't get super cold in the winter. High desert, don't get it. It doesn't get super cold. Well, when I moved back to Chicago, as most of you people up north know, it gets super cold. And so I grew my beard out as a joke saying, hey, it's a natural scarf. And from that time, I've learned a ton on beard stuff. So for those of you who are going to be listening to this elsewhere, myself, I have a big full beard. It's been growing for about 3 or 4 months now. My co-host Ruin Hatter has a medium-sized beard. It's there. It looks like a beard. And then my other wonderful co-host Fuzo has what I like to call patches.
Yes.
I think he's got a. So for my camera, it's a very fashionable goatee. That's how I see it. So like a very fashionable kind of goatee.
Yes,
He got a decent mustache with a nice chin patch.
Yes,
say that
he has.
My little neck beard's kind of there though because it's no shave November, so I got a couple of days till I can shave off the stragglers. But
oh God, don't get me started on No Shave November. Some of these people. So, anyways,
I only do no shave when the wings are in the cup run.
Oh gosh,
I do it to help promote prostate cancer awareness.
So, anyways, let's just kind of go through a normal beard care routine. Normally, what I like to do is I will take a shower. After I get out of the shower, I have myself a hairbrush. This one's kind of old and used. I'm showing it up on screen for those of you listening elsewhere. But so I use the hairbrush just kind of to get the shape. And then after I kind of shape it, I'll take some scissors, some regular hair cutting scissors, and just kind of trim up the stragglers. Because I don't know about you guys, but I get stragglers every single day.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes when you don't trim them up, they just stick out in weird spots.
Yeah.
Like mine.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, I had one that like stuck out in front of my nose. And it tickled my nose like for half a day, dude. It was the most annoying hair in the world.
Oh, I'd had to cut it off instantly. Like, get out of here.
Well, see, that was the problem is I was at work, so I didn't have access to scissors. So then after
it's bad enough, it's going.
Yeah, so after that, basically what I do is I got a couple different brushes, beard brushes. One's a thick bristled one, and that is for when the beard gets longer. So my beard right now is at that point where I got to use the thick bristled one to kind of shape it even more. And then I will put some product in there, and I have what I consider a thin bristled brush and then I'll really, with the thin bristled brush, just kind of brush along the shape. So what I've
I'm
found,
so thankful I don't have a beard like yours. God, it's
Thankful. I'm so jealous of that glorious thing. Look at that. Are you kidding me? But
Yeah.
no.
with
It
that
looks
being
great on
said,
him.
though,
I don't have the patience to do all that. Like, oh God.
I do.
well, see,
For the game,
you guys got hair on your head, and I don't. Like, I'm bald
that is
almost all the
true.
time, and
See,
That's fair.
that's something I
that's
can't stand is having hair on top of my head, because combing it and trying to figure out what it's doing, I can't do it. Heck, I even treated it like my beard one year, where I tried to shape it in a certain way. Yeah, it didn't work.
Didn't really want to hang in there.
Nah, dude, I was putting
See,
like
my hair sucks because my hair is really thin, so it kind of just falls apart pretty easily. So I just push it back most of the time. But see, the thing is, like, I could never grow your beard. Like I'm genetically not built that way. That what I have now is like an act of God, because I couldn't even start growing this until I was like in my late 20s, early 30s. By the time my shit started growing, like not even joking.
and I'm right there with Hatter, and I got a lot of Native American in me. I thought it was fake at first until I did that 23andMe, and genetically, my Native Americans don't grow much hair. I don't have much body hair. I've got hella thick hair on top of my head, but even this little patch right here, most people don't realize I had to put in a lot of work to get that. And like one of the things I use is hair growth serum. It's got like B12 and stuff in it. It's literally beard grow juice, and you put it on after using what they call a demi roller. For all you people out there that are having a hard time, or even people with a beard that's very patchy, demi roller is literally just a roller. It looks almost like a little handheld steamroller, but I don't know how well you can see it. There's all kinds of tiny, tiny little needles on there. And what it does is it simply agitates the hair follicle. So it kind of like pisses it off more or less, and it makes it go back into a growth state. And then the oil itself, after you use the demi roller, goes into the small holes that you made, also irritating the hair follicle, causing better hair growth with the vitamin B12 and B6 and all that other stuff. But I mean, it's been about a 2-year struggle to get where I'm at, as bad as it is. And let's be honest, it ain't nothing special.
Well, see, you talk about beard oil, and it's wintertime pretty much most everywhere right now. And I use beard balm. So during what I've found over the last few years is during the summertime, beard oil is great because it holds the moisture in my beard pretty well and it keeps it real soft. But during the wintertime, like I could use a whole bottle and that stuff dries out like nobody's business. And so I use like it's like it almost feels like petroleum jelly type beard balm, but it has, it's specifically made for beards.
Yeah.
For
and that thicker hair.
Yeah, and so that seems to kind of keep my beard softer longer during the wintertime, because like it gets real dry, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't mind making mine a little softer. I think that's probably the only thing about mine. I wouldn't mind it a little bit softer, but I honestly I don't even know what to get. I have zero regimen to my beard. Like I keep it trimmed. I try to keep it nice and trimmed. Catch any stragglers, make everything looks good. But outside of that, I don't put anything on it. I don't really do anything to it.
See,
I condition it with the same shit I put on my head.
Yeah, see, and that's where a lot of people like think, but you should be using something that's made for beards specifically, because all the like shampoos and stuff and soaps you use to clean your body and whatnot, all that stuff dries out your hair. Whereas you want to keep moisture in your beard, because like if I don't put balm on, or I don't put on like beard oil, what happens is I get very itchy skin like right underneath my chin, and it flakes off like dandruff. It's basically dandruff
no
on
shit.
my chin. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I can't say I've ever had that.
Yeah. And so for me, you know, if I don't do products, if I don't do the beard balm or the beard oil every day, like I get dandruff on my chin and it is the most annoying thing in the world. Like it's crazy. But what I would suggest, and I'm going to see if I can't find this. Fuzo, what is in your beard oil?
Apple extract, fruit cell culture extract, vitamin E, vitamin B6, vitamin B12,
Yeah.
vitamin A7.
That's basically what you want is the stuff with like the vitamin B's, the vitamin E, you know, because all that stuff like softens your hair. Like I even have called Billy Jealousy beard control conditioner. It's kind of like a conditioner slash I don't know, like a mousse to hold your beard in place.
Okay.
Right.
And most of the stuff you can pick up at Walmart. Like we have
I do have a beard gel that I like to use from Paul Mitchell.
Yeah.
It's called Clean Cut. And then I don't have a beard conditioner, but I do have a little block of beard soap, beard shampoo. And like Dee said, I have noticed dandruff too. Even with my tiny little patch. If I tried to shampoo and condition it a couple of times last winter with my normal hair stuff, and that's what I noticed. Like it got really rough. It got really dried out really quick, especially when I went outside in the cold weather. As you guys know, we live up in the north, so it gets very, very, very cold. And I noticed that my goatee is very, very, very affected and temperamental when it gets down to single digit temperatures or below zero.
Yeah. And that's why I switched to balm during the wintertime, is because it just seems to hold the moisture a lot better. So I mean, Hatter, if I were to suggest something to someone like you to make it softer,
Yes.
get yourself a little bottle of natural beard oil and, you know, apply it like every couple days. I'm telling you, you would see a world of a difference.
Yeah,
You know.
I gotta check that out.
I mean, like
Simple.
that's pretty much my routine. And, you know, you just kind of you grow it. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it other than
Sorry.
No.
Critical Net's comment in the chat.
yeah, dandruff on my chin is the name of my Nickelback tribute band. Oh God. Oh God.
That's good. Well, speaking of taking care of things, something that most of us here can definitely appreciate is taking care of our Twitch channels.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So in particular, advancing in Twitch, and obviously the number one thing is the affiliate program, because that's pretty much everything, something that just about everyone who gets started on Twitch ends up focusing on. And like, you know, like what does it mean? Like I think a lot of people don't even understand, like hitting affiliate is actually a big deal, regardless of how you got there. During the pandemic alone, Twitch added another 1 million active streamers.
Oh
like
my God.
just within the period of the pandemic, which is an insane number, like on top of the millions that they already had.
Dude, it's
And so people who actually hit affiliate is like less than 3% of the total streaming base actually hits affiliate. So it's like people who are like, you know, people who fight for partner and they're like, dude, partner is like 0.02% of streamers make partner.
But
So
I mean,
it's like
honestly,
hitting affiliate is meaningful.
what do you even get with partner? I'm not trying to be mean, but I mean, I know they send you a sweatshirt and then you get a contract that you have to be exclusive and
Well-
you get put under a freaking microscope.
well, you get that exclusive contract as soon as you sign the affiliate agreement, and I think that's why there's a lot of people. There's a big YouTuber who he posted a video a few months ago about why you shouldn't sign the affiliate agreement. Like Hatter said, the streaming space has become enormous just in the last year, but even before that, like it's become huge. And I
Yeah.
think, like, I'll say this, that there's so many people out there. Like, it's so easy to just start a stream that as much as you're making friends with a lot of these people, you're also competing in a way because you want people to come to your channel. You see what I'm saying? And so it's this
Absolutely.
weird like balancing act that you got to put out there.
But like for me, like my experience was when I came in and knew nothing and knew nobody. And I fell into a lot of the same early traps that I think a lot of streamers fall into, the follow for follow and getting involved with communities and whatnot. I
Oh
think
man.
you come into a point where you're naive, you get taken advantage of. I think every streamer out there in some form or another has been kind of taken advantage of by other streamers who got it. But I feel like you come to a path where you start streaming and then you splinter off, and either you get to a point where you get it, you're like, oh, okay, I see how this works now, and you either become like, I'm just going to kind of tread my own path, make my own community, do my own thing, or I'm going to kind of be a bit of a leech and do to other people what I just had done to me, you know?
Yeah, I definitely see that, and I like to think that I seen both sides of that really early. When I first met Hatter, actually, believe it or not, I don't talk about it too much because I don't like to toot anybody's horn but my own. But Hatter has been a huge, huge inspiration for me. He's the whole reason I got on Twitch. He's the whole reason I started streaming. He's helped me out a ridiculous amount, to the point where I would honestly kind of consider him my mentor. He got me into Tarkov, which most people don't
Sorry.
know is no, it's okay.
I
I
apologize.
I was a big hater, but one thing I wish I would have done to get when I was on the road for affiliate, it was I wish I would have asked him more questions. Instead of asking him questions, I just kind of assumed what I had to do, and I joined a community. And man, don't get me started on communities because I messed up with that. And I got a little bit of pull in other social media aspects other than Twitch and streaming, and I let them know that. And because of that, they got all super excited and decided that they were going to use me like something bad, and held
Yeah.
back on that one. Sorry, but so when I got to my affiliate, I was having crazy numbers, and I thought like, oh, I'm amazing. I'm blowing this out the water. I'm a rock star. I got 40, 50 people watching at a time. And what it turns out was it wasn't true. And the guy had
Oh,
pretty
I
much
remember
bought a
that.
bot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He bought a bot to come and, give me artificial followers and artificial views and whatnot. And I'm sure, at least I like to think anyways, that in his eyes, he thought he was helping me. But when I had that realization, it crushed me. And I was so ashamed at how I did it artificially that I stopped streaming almost altogether. Now I only stream when I feel like it. I've never fully bounced back.
But see,
So I think,
that was the norm back then. Like
Mhm.
okay, let me
Yeah,
ask
it
you guys this
absolutely was.
question. When did you guys get your affiliate? Do you remember what year?
So
I get,
I got my affiliate within 6 months of streaming.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you
It was
remember the
in
year?
for six.
Do you remember what year it was?
2018.
oh wow.
What
And
about
that
you,
was
Fuzo?
2019.
Okay, see,
20.
mine was I've been an affiliate for 4 years.
Oh wow.
I have a guy. We're family. We're actually family together. He subscribed to the channel the other night, and he has subscribed every month since I got affiliate. He was my first subscription, and it popped up the other night at 48 months.
Holy smokes.
48 months, which then when you come to the realization that it's 4 years, you're just like, holy shit. And so, anyways, but like you guys are saying with the bots and stuff, back when I started being an affiliate and started on Twitch, that was normal. People,
Oh yeah.
you would,
That was the norm for me too for a while. You hear about that all the time.
yeah.
All the time.
And it was just like, hey, come into our community and we'll help you get affiliate, and we'll link everything together. Everyone could go to one website and then they can watch you from that website. You can even post a lurk And then all of a sudden, that website turns into 20 viewers on Twitch because of the way the coding worked for that website.
Yeah, because you could stream off site and it was still, I remember.
Yes.
hearing about
And
that.
so back
there's a lot of
then,
people. There's guys now that are super hot that did that.
well, and I think still some of that is still going on out there today. I mean, Twitch is
I 100% believe it.
Twitch has created tools for it to go against it, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, I still feel like certain things go on like that today. And it's,
I would agree.
But like communities for me, they never helped me for affiliate. I did affiliate on my own. I did the whole, turned on my phone for a viewer, put up my thing on the second screen for a viewer. I had a friend, he would put up my stream every time I caught up. And if you really think about it, 3 viewers, 50 followers is not a lot.
It's not.
50 followers, 3 viewers average. That doesn't have to be every single stream. It just has to be an average across 30 days. That's not a lot. But then as soon as you sign that agreement, you're locked in. Your content is 20, you can't post any content anywhere else for 24 hours.
Yep.
Which to me, 24 hours is about how long it takes me to put out a YouTube video now.
And just to elaborate on that for chat, what he means by you can't post any content for 24 hours is anything that you stream on Twitch, anything that has to do with Twitch can't be posted anywhere else for 24 hours. I know some people may get confused. I'm just trying to avoid a DM later.
But you want to know the best part? People do it anyways.
Yep.
I see clips getting posted while the streamer's still live. Like it just happened and they're posting that clip on a different platform like right at, instantly. And
I feel that's the thing about it too, is a lot of times that's not going to matter so much until you hit the partner program. Because like I said, with a different social media platform, I did a lot of things that I didn't realize were bad. And then all of a sudden I got to a certain level with that platform. And everything that I did over the last 11 years, they went through on a fine-tooth comb. So I hit this awesome level, and then instantly it was like slapping the wrist, 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 slapping the wrist. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Crap.
Oh, yeah, dude. And I feel like some of that stuff happens today. Like constantly. Constantly.
If they ever get to where they're trying to get to, it's going to be a rude awakening. Especially if they have like any copyright infringement. Like right when I first got my first big check, I got a big bill. We'll just say that took all of my money that I made and then some.
Yeah,
because I didn't realize what I was doing.
And we've all went through this, the whole DMCA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing has been that thing blew a lot of people out of the water, and all you heard on other platforms is, oh, I got to delete all my content. All my memories. And it's like,
yeah.
It's like, but don't you guys
the thing about it is like, and I'm just going to say this because this was his tweet and he was spot on. Batty tweeted out like one time a year, it becomes DMCA panic for like 2 weeks and then it just goes away. And that's kind of what happened. Because if you think about it now, like almost nobody talks about it, like at all.
Well, no one talks about it because everyone's protecting themselves.
Yeah.
The panic, I think the panic is still there. I mean, I will not play any music on my stream that's not copyright free. Not at all.
See, all I did was just separated my music from what goes to Twitch, so I don't get any of my streams muted anymore.
But see, that's the thing is you can get muted right live on live.
Oh,
you can get DMCA struck like live, and I think Twitch is just falling behind on that, and that's why I will not touch a copyright music or copyright anything I will not touch it for any of my content whatsoever.
Well, I'll tell you, I would not touch it for a YouTube video ever, 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 ever. And where I'm at on Twitch right now, I'm under the radar, so I feel kind of like I'm probably okay because I'm not important enough to give a shit about.
See,
But if I come to a point where I feel like my numbers are going up and I'm getting more exposure, at that point, I mean, I still predominantly play Veritas's lo-fi music, which is all free to use anyways. But every once in a while, I'll throw on some normal music if I just want to kind of change the energy in chat. But again, if I get to a point where I'm like thinking we're getting enough exposure, I'll probably pull back on that too, just to be better safe than sorry.
But see, here, and let me pose this question: do you really think you're under the radar? Because honestly, if you stream on Twitch, technically you're on the radar. You may not be in the center of the radar, but you're still there.
and I agree with you, because this is what I was talking about earlier, how I had that same mindset for a long time. Like, nobody cares about me. Nobody gives no craps about me. And it was true. It was absolutely 100% true. Until the day when I stepped over that line and I reached my goal pretty much. I got to where I wanted to be at that time. And then they went back through, I kid you not, for 11 years and looked at every single thing that I posted throughout that channel for 11 years. And I wasn't able to post anything for 6 months. It was ridiculous.
Damn.
Every single little thing that I did, they hit me on.
I guess for me, the only reason why I feel like I'm underneath the radar is one, anything, since first of all, at the level I'm at, all my VODs get automatically deleted if I don't delete them myself after a week or whatever, they're gone. So even though Twitch has them, they're not on my page. Nobody can see them. There's nothing for them to see. And if they went back and looked at my VODs, they wouldn't hear any music. So from their standpoint, and just seeing how Twitch kind of like enforces and like does its work investigating stuff, I doubt right now I would be at a point where, I mean, if they really wanted to come down the hammer, I mean, I'm sure they absolutely could, but it would. I don't have any strikes on my channel right now, so maybe I don't know. Let me get a strike, and I might come back and say, you know what? On second thought,
well, see,
I changed my mind.
And I think that's part of the whole DMCA thing. Is people didn't get nothing for a long time, and then all of a sudden they got a strike or 2 strikes, and when you get 2 strikes, you're at that point where you're like, what the front door is going on, and see, I don't even want to take that chance of getting a strike. Like, I just don't. Like, I don't do this full time. Like, this is as much as that would be cool to do it full time, I don't. But at the same time, if it's so easy to take what I love doing right here, streaming and being on Twitch and creating YouTube videos, if it's so easy to give me 3 strikes and you're out and I'm out of here and you're going to take away something that I love to do, I'm not taking that chance.
I'm not taking that chance.
It's just totally understandable. And like I said, there's a reason why I predominantly play Veritas's music. And it's like a once in a while thing. I'll throw on some normal tunes, but even then, I still separate my music from the VOD. Just
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think.
That being said, too, I gotta say, anybody in this podcast or in chat or anybody that hears this later, I can't stress to you enough. If you do turn this into a full-time career and you're making money, make sure you have multiple streams of revenue. Because it only takes one pissed off person on the review department to stop your money for a short period of time, even. And everybody's like, you may be thinking, oh, it's only a short period of time. That's cool because it's not your main gig. But how are you going to do without 2 weeks of pay? It hurts.
Yeah.
No, it definitely hurts.
Well,
absolutely, 110%.
And speaking on that, I think that's a good transition for what we wanted to talk about today too. Is doing this full time. Like, okay, the question from Warspawn in chat is, how do you keep people and get new people into your stream? Well, I think there's if you want to make this your gig full time, you definitely have to branch out to other forms of content, because Twitch, we all know discoverability is very difficult. I've met some really wonderful people through Twitch. Like, I've met you guys, but getting people to come to your streams is near impossible. It's near impossible. But what I've found recently is I've been posting on TikTok regularly. I've been posting on YouTube regularly. I've been posting on Facebook regularly. And using all those 3 platforms, I have gotten probably, I don't know, a half a dozen people come find me on Twitch and keep coming back to find me on Twitch, especially when I'm playing certain games. And most of them would have never known who I was if it wasn't for those platforms.
And there's honestly a couple of things. So from just like the statistics side of things, there's a couple of things that people can do that I have done and I have seen it help. I mean, I actually just looked at my analytics from the last month and it was just straight upward. Like, I've had almost double digits viewers in every one of my streams lately.
Yeah.
And so here's what you do. First of all, I don't care how cringe anyone says it is. You need to put TTV at the end of your name in every single game you're in.
Are you serious?
Every single one. I
You know
swear
what?
to God.
I agree.
I swear to
100%.
God.
I agree.
Because when I took my name from Bruin Hatter in Tarkov to Bruin Hatter TTV, I cannot tell you the number of people who have come into my streams after a fight with me. And 95% of them have actually been super cool. And most of them have ended up joining my Discord and have become regular viewers of the stream. And that's literally so I know as cringe as it is, put it in there. Put it in there everywhere on your Blizzard, wherever it is, TTV, right above your head. Because people will come and watch.
I've thought about that for a long time.
I think he's 100% right, in my opinion. I can't.
And
almost every person that I get into a fight with, whether I kill them or they kill me in Tarkov, and now even like Apex, or if I see somebody like and I'm on Need for Speed and they got TTV, I just go to check them out. I mean, it's kind of cool. In Tarkov, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I'm like, that SOB, that lint liquor, he's a cheater. So I'll go check him out. I'll watch him for a few seconds. I'll see he's not a cheater. I'll say hello. Hey, nice shots. Apparently, I'm Sir Misses a lot today. No offense, Shadow. I stole your name, but
that's a good name.
So, and one of my favorite streamers, believe it or not, besides you two, of course, because I try to always support my friends, is a guy named Baldy01. This guy has an average, in my opinion, from what I see him, of 2 viewers, and I'm one of them. I think the other one's his phone. He's not a very good Tarkov player. I'm just putting it out there. No offense to him if he's here. But his charisma, for me, it's not how necessarily always how well a person plays a game. It's their charisma.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Fuzel, with that one. Is once you get someone to come to your channel, you have to really impress them in a way to keep them coming back. And how to I get your whole TTV, and I've debated it for the last couple months. And the only thing I worry about is, you get that one guy who will call you a rat, 20 different, names that are just inappropriate for what I want to say right now, just because he died to a bunch of pixels. Well, and people can be so terrible about that. Like, they get so salty.
That's why you have people like me, though, who can go through all Hatter streaming, and I can ban them because that's not cool.
Well, yeah, but
here's the thing about it is so I was talking about statistics. 60% of the viewer base on Twitch is streamers. Something that a lot of people do not know. So having that TTV in your name means that you are going to be instantaneously recognizable to 60% of the available viewer base on Twitch. Like boom, right off bat. So, and yeah, I've totally had people come in and be salty as hell with me. I look at that as an opportunity to impress my chat about how I can handle these things because they're inevitable. They're going to happen one way or the other. But here's the thing is, if you come in, you're still giving me a view. And I've had people come in salty and I turn around and I've turned them into subs.
Yeah.
You know, I've been able to work them.
Well, and that's, you're right. Because
I've had
that too.
I've banned people too. I've been like, nope, get them out of here. See ya.
And you know what? And then timeout, so they can't chat, and then I wait for
chat laughs. Yeah, and I'll be honest, I kind of handle it a bit like Dr. Lupo. I kind of just have a no tolerance policy for bullshit. So I'll come in, if you start being really stupid, I'll start making fun of you, and then I'll ban you, and then I'll be like, chat, let's laugh at him as he's going, say bye, and we all laugh, and then we move on.
See, and I think I think Twitch is also cyclical, whereas you get certain times of the year, you'll see more viewers and you'll see more people. And what I like to tell people is everyone can stream. It's super easy. It's so easy to get everyone to stream, but where you run into the problem is when like people will stream for a few months and you'll make friends with them and you'll hang out with them, and then all of a sudden they just disappear. Like they get, it almost seems like they get frustrated and then they don't want to be a viewer anymore. They don't want, because they're not streaming, you know, and I get that part. It's just like, and to me, there's nothing you could do about those people, because like I've taken breaks in the past where I've gotten, I've gone off Twitch. I've gotten away from it, you know, in the past for months, and I wasn't a viewer during that time. I didn't stream during that time. I didn't really post a whole lot to social media or anywhere else during that time because I just didn't want no part of it. And so I think like eventually some of those people come back and some of them don't.
Yeah.
I look at it as when a lot of people come in, especially when they're new to streaming and they don't understand, like they get the idea of like, I need to have like a computer or a game console or camera, yada yada yada. Like they understand like the physical element, the actual like I'm playing something. Like they understand that part of it, but then they get there and they're like, well, now I want people to watch me. How do I do that? Like how do I start having people watch me? So they start reaching out to Twitter, and that's usually the first stop I've noticed. And everything you see, and you see it forever and ever and ever, is the whole follow for follow, sub for sub. You come to my stream, I'll come to your stream. And I think what happens is you get a lot of real quick friends, you know, like single serving friends, like Fight Club style. And as soon as you aren't doing for them what they think you should be, or they get really frustrated because they're doing all of this really toxic or not effective stuff to grow and it's not working, they get frustrated and then they quit and then they just stop watching it altogether. Like they just, fuck it, you know, we're done.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had friends like that. Yeah, we didn't mean to laugh, and you know, we weren't laughing at you. But if you do look at chat and you see the comment, I think TTV is fine. I mean, I really think that I'm going to start.
TTV in your chat. Put TTV in just your Tarkov name. Just put TTV in your Tarkov name and then if you don't like the effects, by the time you can switch it again, then you switch it back to something else. But just put in your Twitch in there, your Twitch name, TTV, so people can find you super easy, and then just watch what happens. I'm telling you, 95% of the people who have come in have been super cool.
I think
honestly, they've been really cool.
To me, I think. Well, I would
say that the TTV on a solo game or an offline game where it's not multiplayer, I don't think would matter much, just because there was.
Yeah, like I don't use that in Final Fantasy. Yeah, like when I play Final Fantasy, I don't have TTV. I only have TTV for like Apex, you know, PUBG, Tarkov, like you know, all my competitive, all my shooting games, anything competitive or shooting or anything like that, I'll have TTV in it. But or but like solo single player games or like my Final Fantasy MMO, I won't bother doing it.
Well, I think I would elaborate on that a little bit and just say that any game where you're going to come across someone else playing that game, even in some of these like open world games, kind of like Fallout or DayZ,
New World.
where
Yeah.
you may come across a person even though you're playing by yourself. I think you're onto something that TTV might, people will probably look you up. You know what I mean? They're going to see that in your name. They're going to go see if you're live. And if you're live, then they're going to be like, oh, let's watch this guy. And then we'll have interactions with him. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I get what you're saying.
And to be perfectly honest, I got this idea from watching Pestily. Because I was watching Pestily streams and he got asked kind of a similar question. And he said, put TT. He's like, do what I did. He's like, when I first started out, I put TTV in everything. He was like, it was Pestily _ TTV. He's like, I did that. And he's like, I don't have to do it now because there's enough of you guys. You guys know who I am.
Yeah.
He's like, but when nobody knew who I was, having that helped me. He's like, I put it everywhere I could so people know. And I was like,
I do like Pestily. He's
all right.
Help. And
I was like, all right, if he did it, it seemed to work for him. All right, I'll try it. What's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't work for me, I can just change it back. But ever since I did it, I've had such a cool response to it. I mean, that's actually how I met Yoinks.
Yeah.
I actually met Yoinks because I killed him in a raid. And he came to my Twitch channel afterward. And that's how, and he ended up joining my Discord. I went and joined his Discord and ended up becoming friends with the guy.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have happened had I not had TTV in there.
Well, that's like recently I had a guy, I played Dead by Daylight. I've started back playing that. And I had a guy who found my Twitch channel through my profile on Steam. And he came in, he was halfway salty because he died because I was playing killer. And we talked about how he was talking about how I was ruining the fun of the game where I could have not killed him. And we had a nice long conversation about it. And honestly, he turned into a regular. All because, it's like, hey, mindset. I was just trying to get an advantage for myself, And
I think the thing about it too is like there are some people who will just see like TTV and see you're a streamer, and I've seen this a lot. I've had it happen quite a bit where people will have TTV, but they're not live and they haven't been live in like fucking 10 months, So I think sometimes too when someone sees TTV and they're like, all right, let's see, and they're like, oh no shit, this guy's actually live. And he's got people viewing. And then they just kind of put you on as video wallpaper, and it's like perfect. That's all I need. You just stay there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of that cringe factor is there, but at the same time, I think I think it's good.
I mean, the other thing too about getting people in your chat, and they say this all the time. Again, 60% of the viewer base is streamers. Networking is super important.
Yes.
Like you do not. Here's the difference. There's a huge difference between networking and being friends with people, and it's so easy when you come into this because it's such a social thing to confuse the two. There are streamers that I know that I have networked with that if I wanted to message right now and be like, "Hey, do you want to do something?" They would probably be totally down with it. Because we've either had good chemistry, we've done good streams together in the past, and we know that for content-wise, it's in both of our mutually advantage. That's a network arrangement.
And what I was going to say is I think if you network in the right way, because a lot of people consider networking as, oh, I'll watch you, you watch me, and then we're networking. And to me, that's not how it always works. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Hatter, I met you through another Discord we were in, and I saw that you were playing Tarkov, and I reached out to you and I said, hey, do you want to play? And then of course, do you remember what happened our first raid together?
Didn't I shoot you?
No, I shot you.
Oh, you shot me.
You went lower bridge, I went upper bridge, and I called out a scav and you said where, and then I had tapped you.
Yeah.
So at that point, I thought, oh, well, I just made this new friend who plays Tarkov, and Well, that's gonna go to shit here real quick.
I was so happy to have someone to play with. I genuinely didn't give a shit. I was just like, I have someone to play this damn game with. Thank God.
But that's
Because
what
if
I'm
I had to
saying
get,
is
because
I popped you in the head, I killed you, and then you were like, oh, well, can you get my gear? And I was like, yeah. So I dumped it all in the water. And then I was like, well, do you want to go again? And he's like, yeah, let's go again. So I was like, all right, let me extract real quick. And I ran so fast to the extract. But
I was just so happy to have someone to play with, because when I played that game alone for like months and months and months, like it's one of those, like, if you know what you knew now, you wouldn't have did what you did in the past. Like, I remember
exactly.
the first couple of raids I did. Like, I did a night raid with a scab, and I went straight to dorms. Like, I had no clue what I was doing. I'm like, this seems
Exactly.
perfectly fine. Like, a month later, I'm like, I'm surprised I survived that raid.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying is, like, if you network in the right way and you make friends in the right way, you know, I feel like you can definitely, once you start like co-streaming and combining your communities, you'll see people in both, and then those people will see you and be like, oh yeah, he's a really good guy, so when he goes live, you know, we'll come watch him, you know. And that like meshing of intertwining of communities, I think, is a big help to many streamers, because that's what puts them from, you know, 3-4 viewers to 10 to 20 viewers, you know. And eventually you meet more people, and then those 20 viewers become 40, and 40 becomes, you know.
And I'll definitely say this, like, when it comes to networking, when it comes to working with other talent, fucking break check your ego. Like, seriously, don't at any point in time ever think that the people you're working with are going to give you views or taking views or any of that shit. Like, if you ever let that get into your
Absolutely.
lexicon of headspace, you are automatically fucked. Like, absolutely messed with, because the whole point about it is, and I'm a big believer in what comes around goes around. You know, not everything I do is going to help my numbers. A lot of stuff that I'm going to do is probably going to help other people, but I'm totally fine with that. Like, it doesn't come into my headspace. What I do is what I do, and what I do to help other people or try to network or work with them, you know, it's like, even when I want to
Exactly.
do like a stream with somebody, it's not be like, I want this person on here because they're going to make my viewer count go up because they're here. I'm streaming with somebody because I enjoy their company.
Yeah.
You know, like, I want to do it because we actually have
Exactly.
fun, and that'll come through far more in the content than me trying to curate something that's clickbait.
Exactly.
First up on the block here, the daily and weekly tasks. How do you guys feel about those being added to the game? Has it added enough value to make you want to keep playing?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
I don't do them. I don't care about them. I've done one, honestly, and I did it on
So,
accident.
okay, so this is perfect because I'm right in the middle. I kind of agree with both of you. The problem is I can't wait until you can reroll tasks, because there are sometimes you get casts where I'm like, there's no effing way I'm doing that. Like, I have absolutely, like, go survive labs.
Yeah.
No, you go survive labs. I don't want to fucking go
Yeah.
there.
I'm
Yeah,
just gonna sit
I've
here.
seen that one.
But I had to, like, give something to one of the traders, and the cost of both of the items that they wanted was more than the total reward they were giving me back. It was literally a losing transaction.
Now, what was the experience on that though? Was it a good amount of experience,
No,
or was
it
it like
wasn't. No, the experience. No, because it
then
was
yeah,
just a
No.
hand-in items task, so they're not even worth that much experience.
Yeah, that's
then yeah, that's not worth it
So
to me.
I think adding them
eh,
brings some value to the game. But like I found myself doing right now is I'll be going out and doing a daily task instead of doing a task for Kappa. Which, and you guys know that I was super about getting Kappa this wipe, and now, yeah, no, I'm probably not. I'm not even coming close.
daily tasks, I think, are great early wipe. I think for low-level characters, it's a great way to get quick money, quick experience, some extra trader rep, you know, and if especially because we all know, having done several wipes, each of us, it does feel kind of wash and repeat every time that they reset it. So this
Yeah.
kind of breaks up that monotony by giving you some stuff to do, which early on, prior to basically hitting the flea market, those dailies and those weeklies I think are really super helpful. But I'm like level 40 something now. Most of my tasks are A, kind of a pain in the ass.
Dude, you're not even
And
level. You're
B,
like level 40.
t-
The same
yeah,
as
like
me.
40 something.
No, you're like 40.
Oh.
Come on, don't try to sugarcoat it because, dude, I've been 41 for a while now, and the last 2 times I've played with you, you were like 39 and 38. So try not to say
Okay,
you're
He's
40
like, you don't pass
something.
me.
Well, no, because I was thinking I was really close to a trader level, the final rep level, and I thought maybe I only needed one more level. But maybe it was 41
yeah,
instead
but
of
trader rep
43.
is different from.
No. What I'm saying is I needed a level to move up to like
Yeah.
max out one of the traders, and I thought in my head it was 43, but maybe it's 41. That's why my math's off. But I mean,
But
either way,
say.
at this level,
That
they're
was
not super helpful. But they're not super helpful. Like they're financially, they're not rewarding enough. I mean, like, go kill 5 PMCs with lake shots. You're gonna give me 40,000 rubles. Do you know how much I spent in ammo to pull that off?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I
well,
think you're looking at it from the wrong light. Even though I don't do them, I can almost guarantee next wipe I will because I'll start doing them. I think the daily, the weekly tasks are there simply to break up the monotony. They're not
Which I
necessarily there to
agree.
be a reward. Like
And
at this
that's
point,
the thing.
especially, most people have a ridiculous amount of cash. Uh, I have been staying steady, growing about 500,000 a day, even when I get reckless. You know, just
Right.
throughout most of my hideout stuff, and then I pretty much go in with nothing most of the time. Like I've got more money than I know what to do with, so the money's not an issue for me right now.
well, even like for me, the extra trader rep does nothing for me because all my trader reps
Same.
from just doing regular tasks for Kappa it helps to keep them where they're at, but it does nothing for me. And like they have said in the past that the reward system is going to change for those because based on what you have to do, the reward system's going to get better or worse. You know, so
And that's the only thing that I'm saying. Like, I love the dailies, I love the weeklies, I love the whole idea behind them, and because Tarkov is kind of more of an MMO than a first-person shooter, so to speak, having dailies and weeklies is super important. They just once they allow you to have the ability to re-roll a task at least once, so that you can have like, I don't want to do it, I'll try something else, and they rebalance the reward system so it's actually rewarding, then yeah, I'm 100% for it.
well,
100%.
I think before they even get to that point, I think they got to keep going with what they had envisioned for the game first. Like the dailies and the
Yeah, but
weeklies, it's a good implementation. It's good for making the community happy, okay? Like that's
right.
what it's good for right now. But I think instead of working on something like can we re-roll a task, like I've seen things on Twitter like, hey, can we pick and choose, like someone said something about can we get like multiple dailies from the same trader so that we can pick and choose what we want. And to me,
Right.
like doing that kind of coding doesn't make any sense at this point in the game because we still have maps that need to come. We still have
Well,
features.
they're not doing that. I know for a fact that they are just going to do the reroll feature, and it's just going to be a random reroll for a new task.
Well,
Like
but
that's
But
how
that's what
they're
I'm
doing
saying
it.
is even working the reroll right now, I think is too early because we still have maps, future maps that need to come out. We still have,
Right.
you know, they want to connect it into making it an open world. How about Lighthouse is coming out? Here you go. I know you wanted to
Yes,
talk about this.
that's right.
Lighthouse is coming out probably Christmas time. After that,
So, Gabe,
Streets of Tarkov is going to come out. I
Yeah.
would much rather the team be focused on making those the best possible maps and the best possible content rather than making a handful of people happy because they power level to 70 within weeks of wipe. Does that make
Right.
sense?
I don't think any. Well, rewards don't necessarily have to be experience, though. I mean, rewards could be more cash, or it could be actual gear and items that you could use. I
Mike,
mean, I totally get what you're saying about like they have other things they need to focus on, but the dailies and weeklies are here now, and it's the whole idea is using that to keep players engaged. So it's like if adding in a reroll and kind of slightly balancing the tables to make them more rewarding has a better opportunity of engaging and keeping players, at least while they're rolling out this other stuff. I mean, I'm with you. I love the idea that we're getting a new map, like Lighthouse is coming, but again, like I'm really holding my reservations on that map, to be honest with you, just because of everything that we saw with Streets, things that happened between Streets and Lighthouse being announced, the initial stuff that we saw with Lighthouse, and the fact that now we're not even getting the full Lighthouse map. Like we're only getting like the first of like I think 4 iterations of it.
Well, yeah. Well, that's just because they're not going to add the in-game trader like they want to. They're not going to add. They're not going to add. What's the other thing? I think they're only going to add like half a map because the map's going to be bigger than people think.
Yeah, the map is supposed to be huge.
So that's what I'm saying is like they're not adding everything to it. I'm excited because it's a new map. We haven't had a new map since Reserve.
Yeah, and I did some research
and that was what, 2019?
Yeah.
Did some research on that last night, and even though they're going to be doing it in 4 stages, which is where they're playing right now, so the first stage is going to be a big portion of the map, and even like the first stage is supposed to be so big that they're going to be adding 2 of the 4 bosses on there. Like, imagine how big the area's got to be to have 2 freaking bosses there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then there's supposed to be 4 in total, and an in-game trader. So that's a lot of work to be done in the coding aspect.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, if they were to put all of that in there at once, if something were to go wrong, they would have to go through all of that code at one time instead of doing it little by little.
Well, and as much as you guys know, Tarkov, something always goes wrong. Something always goes wrong. Like it never fails.
Yeah.
Never fails.
I mean, although kudos to BSG for the Unity upgrade because a lot of stuff did not break super bad.
Yes.
Like when they did that update. They actually did okay with that.
Dude, that's the thing that I'm most excited about is the new Unity engine.
Yeah.
Because there's like a lot of games that I play that use that engine, and the games that are going to it, boy, man, they're going to be able to do some really interesting and fun stuff to it.
Yeah. It makes it so much easier on the developers.
You know what I'm saying? And I think like Tarkov is at a point.
There's a lot of optimization options that's going to be available on Unity 2019. So for like a lot of people who are like, oh, this game doesn't run that great. Don't worry. It will run much better soon.
Yeah. And see, like for me, I play 7 Days to Die. I know Fuso, I think you do too. But that game runs on a extremely old version of Unity. And that's why it takes those developers so long to put out content. And everyone's like, I know people in that community are always like, hey, we're only getting Alpha 20. This game has been out since 2013, and it's like, well, yeah, because you're running on a super old version of the engine and you can't add what you want to add to it without making sure it doesn't break other things. Whereas Tarkov, yes, they converted to 2019, to Unity 2019, but I'm sure they used a newer version to start their game on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, I think the optimizations, like, I think that's going to be badass. I think the game's going to run better. How about the NVIDIA stuff?
Oh my goodness. I'm so freaking excited for that.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like that
I
NVIDIA
can't
stuff?
quite utilize that yet because my graphics card isn't quite that up to date yet. But
dude, instant replay. Oh my goodness. Being able to hit Alt F10 and save the last 5 minutes of game footage or whatever duration you decide. And then on top of that, the NVIDIA highlights, when they get that in there, it will automatically save highlights like kills, deaths, boss kills, things like that. Oh, it's gonna be beautiful.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
gonna make content
I
creation so much easier.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think I'm more excited about those upgrades than I am for the new map, the new wipe. Because like for me right now, Tarkov is boring. It's boring. Like
yeah.
I told you the other day when you and I played together, that's probably the most fun I've had in a while, and that's because I guess I'm just tired of getting my nuts kicked in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think
Well,
it was Heather and I that were talking
I
about
mean,
this the other day, and I gotta say, for the most part, the same thing for me. But just like with the previous wipes, it's getting to end wipe, and you guys know me when we get to end wipe, I get bored with the game. But I love the game, so I find stupid little things. So typically when I go in and I give myself a stupid challenge. I like doing zero to heroes with no gun whatsoever because scavs will come after you like by the dwarfs. You'd be amazed at how many scavs there are. And you literally have to try to run from cover to cover and then hit them in the head with a hatchet to take the weapon and then shoot the other scavs that are coming. Or we'll do like mac and cheese runs. Or like the other day, I think Hatter was on the 007 challenge from Shadow. You know, Shadow and I always do this stupid shit like that. But without that, the game wouldn't be that much fun to me. I mean, the only reason I
yeah.
have 22 melee kills in Tarkov is because I get bored. What other reason do you have to go around trying to knife players?
yeah, see, like what happens for me every wipe is I get stuck on a task or two, and like until I complete that task, the game just gets never ending, just like it's the same thing over and over. You know, it's
Right.
rinse, repeat, repeat, rinse, go again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
And
think for me, the swipe what kind of had that effect was um when they switched to the dynamic looting.
oh,
And I know I fucking like was the biggest proponent of dynamic loot, but I swear to God, ever since they switched to that, so much of the loot on reserve has like at least on reserve has been like impossible to find. Like
yeah.
I've gone to places where I know, and I've looked even around the area where I know like intel folders spawn, and I found like none. Like I found more graphics cards in a duffel bag than I have in like tech drop down or those surrounding rooms. Like I'm like, where the hell is the loot, man?
see, and I haven't had a problem finding loot this wipe.
Excuse me.
Like not at all. Like I like the dynamic loot because it
Well, I do too, because I've turned around and found built guns just laying in a spot where I've never seen one before. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, this is cool.
Uh,
And it's like a tricked out Raider gun. And I'm like, oh, dude, sweet. Like,
I think dynamic loot worked really well right at the beginning when they implemented it, but it hasn't really changed the gameplay because you still see people going to the same rooms in resort, to the same spots in reserve, to the same spots on customs. You
see,
know,
with that though, I think for the most part, that's either raider hunting or purely habit. I'm excited to see how that works with the next wipe because people tend to reset their habits per wipe. Not
yes.
fully, but at least a little bit. So with
well,
next
and I
wipe with
think
the
in
dynamic
part
loot, I
two,
think it'd be interesting.
but I think in part two, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but even knowing where else the loot could have spawned and not having that information, so it was like, yeah, I kind of as have it because I've done this loot run 5 million times. When I go to reserve, I do kind of still tend to go on the same path. Now I may go and check surrounding rooms that in the past I wouldn't have looked at, but even then, I go in there and I'm still not sure where I should be looking. And it's like I probably have looked over stuff just because I didn't even have like a frame of reference as to where some of the stuff could now spawn because it's new. And
Mm.
I like I've even looked content wise, and I haven't really seen anyone who's actually even really talked about that. Like, okay, cool, it's in different places, but give us some kind of frame of reference of where we could quote unquote potentially find it. Like, oh, if it's gonna spawn on a floor, it's gonna be like it's always gonna be by like these pile of clothing, or like, there'll be certain debris that should clue you in visually that this is a spot that stuff can spawn. Just
Yeah,
so you're not looking everywhere,
Yeah.
in spots where you're wasting time.
I think a big thing, and here's a big one for me that I think is going to be a game changer, is the implementation of inertia.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait for inertia. I cannot wait for inertia.
Think that is going to change the way the game is played from a lot of people. And I feel like I could see, I almost foresee this coming. There's going to be so much community outrage with that. Like, people are going to be pissed. Because, I mean, think about, remember when they did the weapon?
The COD kids are going to be pissed because they won't be able to AD to glory anymore.
Remember when they implemented the weapon malfunction? How people are still getting mad over that?
Oh yeah. And I could probably count the number of times I've died to weapon malfunction on one hand. Honestly,
I can.
I've died this many times to a weapon malfunction. 0.
You're kidding me.
No, I've survived
maybe 4 times.
Every weapon malfunction I've had.
20 times.
Every malfunction I've had, I've survived.
Actually, hold on a second, because this is perfect. This actually shows you that the weapon malfunction system is actually working. Because I bet you D probably repairs every single one of his guns every single time.
Yep.
As part of your routine. Okay.
Yes.
I don't all the time, but I do it about some of the time if I usually remember it. And Fuso, you say you grab whatever you take from the previous rating, you just drag it right in. And I guarantee half of those weapons are less than 50% durability.
That goes against my challenge, actually, to repair the weapon. So something I've been doing lately is I won't even grab extra ammo. So if I only have a half a magazine and that's it, I just sell the other magazines I have, and then take in that half a magazine, and I have to wait until I kill somebody else, kill another scab, or find ammo on the map or something like that. And that's kind of what keeps it fun for me. So yes, a lot of times my weapons are like 40, 45% durability.
Yeah.
And man, let me tell you what. One time I had a gun jam followed by a gun jam. I was like, what the hell is this?
No.
And then all I just hear, cheeky bleaky, Fuso dead.
Yeah. See, all of mine, as soon as they get below 80%, repair. Because 90%, 90%
into the habit of repairing every raid now. Even if it's like a couple hundred rubles, fuck, I'm repairing. I don't care.
But the way I treat gun repairs is the same as I treat armor repairs. If a gun has a durability of 54 out of 54, that's still 54% of 100, which to me is not a gun you should be using, period. Because you remember like armor. Okay, armor has a value of like, say, I think it's the TTV rig, TV110 rig, has a fresh value of 85. Now in Tarkov, when that gets below, like, you can repair that as many times as you want because it repairs really well. But when that value gets below 80%, it doesn't protect you as well. And so that's how I treat guns is, I got a gun here that's 54 out of 54, but it's still half of what it originally was at 100%. So it's going to jam.
Yeah.
You know?
It's gonna jam.
No matter how pretty that gun looks for its age, that thing is still shooting sideways. Pew, pew,
Exactly.
pew, pew.
So like, that's how I treat it. And that's why I think I've survived every time I've had a jam. Is I know the gun's going to jam eventually. And when it does, it's like, oh, I should be getting my butt to cover immediately so I could fix this.
Immediately.
Yeah.
You know, and as an avid lover and user of guns, I like the gun malfunction. I think it makes it more realistic. And I know with 12.12, they're releasing the next stage of gun malfunctions. And I believe one of the first things, this one isn't confirmed, but I do believe one of the first things is going to be overheating. And I personally, I am super excited for overheating. Not
Yeah,
because,
overheating is going to be added. I'm looking
yeah,
forward to that as well.
it's not going to make life easier for anybody. Not me either.
Nope.
So no, that's not it. I'm excited because it's a malfunction that you have the ability to control.
Yeah.
You have the ability to control your own fire rate.
But see, I
And how
still
much of a risk are you willing to take? You know,
I still
Yes.
see a lot of gamers that are going to rage hard when these malfunctions and this inertia comes into the game because,
Oh yeah.
oh, this is not what, this is not what we've been playing for the last 3 or 4 years. You know what I'm saying?
the
Like
closer
they're gonna rage.
that the closer that Tarkov gets to what Tarkov should be, the more that's going to happen.
You know
So
what,
many
too?
people are used to playing this game like it's a COD game, and honestly,
It's not even going to be that game.
it's not
Yeah.
going to be, and they don't understand it's not that game. It's just it looks that way right now, but the more and more it's evolved, the less and less it's become that. And you see it
Yes.
every time they make a change. Like people aren't prepared to the fact that they're doing an ammo and armor rebalancing in this patch as well.
And
So
you want to know
your
something?
ammo is going to be different. It's going to react differently than you're used to now.
The more
It
this
should.
game goes to what it's supposed to be, the more I love it.
Yeah.
The more
You know
I
what?
love it.
No, same
My
because
favorite
I like
thing,
the pace of it.
my favorite thing about Tarkov, in a nutshell, is everything. And you can say that's crazy, but I mean, think about it. You have crafting. You can craft all kinds of things. Free will. You have a bartering system. You have a flea market. So you have an extensive gunsmithing ability. You're able to customize your character. And now one of my big things that I'm super excited for is VoIP. You best believe you guys better be looking out there for shorts of me robbing people. Put your hands up. Drop your guns. Don't make me do it.
Oh my
And then when they
God.
drop their guns, I'm gonna shoot them in the leg and run up and take their stuff so they can't get me, can't chase after me.
Dude, VoIP
you
is going to
better
be,
believe.
VoIP is going to, VoIP is going to be
Are
crazy
you worried
because,
to use it on stream?
oh, absolutely.
Are
Because,
you
hold
going
on,
to anyways?
I'm going to anyways to start with, but I'm absolutely, I'm afraid of using it on stream for one simple fact. This game has grown immensely in the last year.
Oh yes.
And the reason why it's grown is because of a lot of the major content curators out there. And because of drops, the free stuff. And I think that has brought in a much younger generation of gamers, a much younger generation of player to our player base. And have you guys ever seen any of the Warzone hot mics?
Oh yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
stuff people say on those hot mics, it's the same shit that's going to get said in VoIP.
You know what though?
I'll
That's
go so
something-
far as I actually think it'll be worse in Tarkov because of how tense shit situations can get.
I think it was gonna be a shitstorm in the beginning, for
Yeah.
lack there of a better.
But see, to me,
Nikita has said over and over and over that is what he is expecting, and as soon as it happens, he's gonna come down with an iron fist on it because that's not what he wants out of VoIP.
no, but at the
So-
same time, you can't and I really hate to pin this on people that are immature because there's a lot of older people that are immature.
Well,
But
I'm
the
immature.
maturity level of
you should see
just
me
how
farts
people
around me.
react,
Lose my shit.
watching people play Warzone and watching those hot mics and watching how people react to when they get killed by someone, VoIP in Tarkov is not going to make that any better because I've gotten messages before in Tarkov where people have complained about dying a certain way or the way that I played the game because I killed them. And now
Yep.
that's just going to enhance it because they're going to be able to say something to you while you're shooting them in the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, like, it's just, I'm afraid to use it because I'm afraid of what's going to come back on it. And it's just
As long as I
because,
can hotkey it to shut it off immediately, that's the one thing I want. I want to have a hotkey that I can just be like, nope, doom, and shut it off.
Yeah.
If
I-
they start getting too spicy, then nope, I can just immediately hit censor and we're back to voice comms until this guy's like 6 feet under, and then I'll turn it back on again.
yeah, but see, I just don't think it's going to be a great feature to start with. Like, I don't.
Honestly, something we really, I'm still holding out to the fact. I don't really, I mean, in all of the good things you could do with it, I think it's awesome.
Yes.
The problem is it has an equally bad negative side that I'm not excited about.
I think the negative side outweighs the good things by a lot. And it's
agree.
just because of how people react to dying in this game.
You know,
In
if
my-
they
in
had
my
had
previous-
voice in this game 2 years ago, it would have been so much different.
Yes, it would be. If
2
they
years ago, when the community was super positive and everyone was super tight, and it was a really positive community, and we had VoIP, it would have been fucking fantastic.
right, but now,
But
as you can
now-
see, like you could see it daily on Twitter, the community
Yeah,
is split.
toxicity is, yeah.
You have a group of just toxic, immature people on one side, and then you have a group in the middle who gets caught in the middle because they like people on both sides. And then on the other side,
Yeah.
you have a very positive, overwhelmingly positive, wonderful, welcoming community that everyone wants to be a part of, but there's still those like bad apples or that one side that people like to watch because they're really good at the game. They know how to kill people. Do you see what I'm saying? So the community
Well,
is
and
split.
then you have the fact that you also have a lot of influencers in this community. And unfortunately, the people that follow influencers don't understand the difference between just an opinion, and it doesn't need to have an entire brigade behind it. It can just be an opinion. And
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
but like, did you?
people start stupid fights, and you start seeing communities getting into it over like the
Well,
dumbest of shit.
That's exactly what
know?
happened today. If you followed Twitter, did you
I
see what
missed
happened
it.
today? I'm not going to
No,
name
what
names,
happened?
but there was a big fight today because of a in-game fight, and then how they both communities reacted to the fight.
Could you just DM me their names real
I'll
quick,
do it
just
late.
so I can
Yes,
have reference?
yes, but at the same time, like
Unless you know Fuzo, then you can DM me them.
I saw it
I don't know.
this morning, and I just shook my head as a member of this community, thinking to myself, this is exactly what I'm talking about now. Is you have one side who's very welcoming and wonderful, and they killed someone who's on the immature, the very opinionated side of Tarkov, and you mix those two communities together, and boy, they got into it.
Oh, it's volatile. It gets
Oh
volatile.
my
very, very
god,
fast.
yes.
Well, but here's the thing about it, because any game that gets big enough will have a community that will inherently develop some level of toxicity. Like there's
Yes.
no two ways around it. You just cannot help it. It's gonna be a thing. And whether we're gonna sit here and people, I mean, first it was hackers, and then it was RMT, and then it was desync, and then it was netcode, and then it was like, malfunctions. It was like, every time you turned around, someone found something stupid to fight about because everyone's
Yep.
got to find a reason to be angry about something.
Yep, you're exactly
When the
right.
community gets big enough, people want to, extract campers. Let's bitch about that for a while, and it's like,
Well,
Like
and
the best piece of advice you could ever get in your life.
I really
Never
gotta
trust
go to the
stupid
bathroom. I'll be right
people
back, guys.
in large numbers. Stupid people in large numbers get into a herd mentality, and most of them will be followers. And you could be like, the sky is purple. If you get enough people to follow you, more will keep coming in, and then everybody will be fighting that the sky is purple instead of looking up.
yeah, and not to mention, the big thing is this game has made a lot of people popular in the community.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, like, I think some of that popularity is rubbing off, and, you know, people just get very opinionated, and it's almost like people don't want to respect each other's opinions. And it really,
People are quick
that,
to forget where they came from.
yeah. And that's why I think VoIP is going to be a complete mess when it comes out. And it's just going to be, it's not going to be something that is going to be good right off the bat. Okay.
Yes, we cannot. All right, so just for people for reference. So recently there was a podcast with Pestily, Nikita, Mr. Nice Guy, and Axel TV. And one of the things that was brought up was, what is the current status of binaural audio? Now, binaural audio is basically how sound reacts to surfaces, the types of surfaces it is, its distance, and its position, and its angle from you, whether it's above you, whether it's below you. It basically handles the entire plethora of sound that moves around you. We've had the first module added to the game. It's still kind of up in the air about how well it works. And everyone's been waiting for audio. When's audio going to be fixed? When's audio going to be fixed? And binaural audio was supposed to be the fix. And then we heard updates that said, well, we've got binaural audio working, but the CPU usage is through the roof. It's way too high and it's not playable. So they were asked on this podcast, Nikita was asked, where's binaural audio at? Is it going to be in 12.12? No, it's not going to be in 12.12. And they're working on it, which was pretty much all they said about it. So I am totally worried that they're dumpster firing this thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think in theory that audio is gonna work at some point, but I think there's too many factors in the game right now that allows it not to work. Because didn't we run a test the other day, you and I?
We were going to, but I think the raid that I went to switch it onto was like you had to go after that. So
Yeah.
we weren't able to do like a several raids to determine testing or anything like that.
So
But I definitely want to do that. The next time you and I have a chance just to sit there and talk and test things out, I would love to sit there and just like
yes,
be close enough to each other to, you know, and have somebody walk above us, walk below us, do different things just to see how I'm hearing it compared to how you're hearing it.
yeah, because I have binaural. I turned it off a long time ago, and every time they implement something and it turns back on, I turn it off immediately. Because for me, like, it does not sound the same in my ears. Like, no matter, like, I could use the same headset like what I'm using here in real life, and then use the same headset in game, and it doesn't sound the same. Like, not at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, see, what
so
was weird for me, when I turned mine on, I actually suddenly started feeling like I was hearing things better.
yeah, and see, for me, like, it doesn't work. So I wonder if that goes back to I think it was Veritas did a video on headsets in game.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it was a very, very wonderful, informative video on how each one sounds.
The
And
different ranges and stuff.
yeah, and it kind of allows, like, for me, when I picked blindly which ones he was saying sound better, those are all the headsets in game that I use. You know,
Right.
I use those in game, and it's just because for my ears it sounds good. So I think
Right. Which is fine at the end of the day. Like, I think some of this is definitely comes down to preference and just how we naturally hear things at an individual level. The problem is that there's so many inconsistencies with the sound current, and that's the issue. It's like, how many times we've sat there and went, wait, was that above us or on the same floor as us?
yes,
Because we
Yes.
literally couldn't tell the difference. Or we'd hear a grenade go off and it sounds like it's going off almost everywhere. And you're like, well, which way was that come from? And it's like, not really sure.
yes.
It sounded like it was behind me for a second, but now it could have been off to my right.
Or
I'm
like-
not really sure.
Yeah, or like people talk about having the key opening like right next to you,
Oh,
even though
yes.
it's on the other side of the building. You know,
Well,
like,
and that is unfortunately because of Unity 2019. The sound broke.
Well, yeah, because
So you
see,
start hearing things you weren't supposed to hear before.
well, see, and like I'm hearing stuff like in game, I'm hearing stuff on my left side that normally I don't hear. And it makes me question if there's someone to my left or not. So
I've been having
think,
issues where this happened twice last time I played Tarkov, where I got this weird audio bug where I would get this staticky, wavy, echoey sound. So
yeah.
everything echoed slightly and it had this static wave sound to it. I was like, what the hell is going on? And I'd have to restart my whole game and it would go away. And it doesn't happen very often, but it happened twice in one session. I've never had it happen twice. And that was like an 8-hour session, though. So it's like, it doesn't happen a lot, but it's still annoying.
Well,
Yeah,
this
that would be very annoying.
this brings me to something with streaming is I don't have a 2 PC setup, but I know some people
Neither
that
do
do.
Yeah.
And the problems of getting audio just right to where your viewers can hear a bunch of stuff and then you can hear a bunch of stuff is very hard to set up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I
have no idea.
I have a friend who has a 2 PC setup. It took him a month and a half just to get his audio just right for his stream.
I could see that, trying to get the audio to line up properly and everything.
Yeah, and so I
Yeah.
feel like
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's what kind of happens in Tarkov, is they have audio profiles that they put out there for the game, but I feel like those profiles don't really, like, they have a hard time lining it all up how they want it.
I think at the end, I think the problem is the way it's designed currently is very basic. Like they talk about like how in staircases are like death
Yeah,
because you have that plane. So if you're like on the landing just below second floor, if your head breaches that plane, even if you can't see it, so you could be shoulder up in the second floor area. The rest of you is on the first floor, but you only hear the second floor because you can't hear the first floor now.
right,
Because you're
exactly.
above that plane.
And I think
I've
that's,
had that happen recently.
I feel like that's a restriction of the game. Like,
Yeah.
to me, that's like restriction of game development, is that you want sound playing on a certain level, but you have to put in a what is it, like a guide, because you could look up and not see anything above you, but you know something's up there because you can hear it. But if you're on that middle floor and something's happening below you, it almost sometimes sounds like it's above you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And see, here's the thing that worries me about this whole thing right now, at least with how Nikita sort of answered this question. And it really was kind of like, all right, let's move on. Like it was just very quick and done with. Was that when they first started talking about binaural audio and when we got the first module added to the game, we were told pretty extensively, this is what it does. This is what it's going to be good for. This is how we're going to use it. Like there was all this talk and then like, they even told us like, this is only the first module and we're working on the other modules because once the other, and he was very specific in saying that this is not all of it. Once we add all the modules, it will work the way it's supposed to. So we even know right now that what we're using isn't fully working the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Correct.
And now when he was asked about this, there was like nothing. Like he wasn't like, yes, this is what we've been working on. Now that we have Unity 2019, we can do these optimizations that will allow us to run it. Like nothing like that, which I was like, oh, why aren't you saying anything at all? I'm really worried about the fact you're not saying anything at all.
Well, I think part of the reason why he's not is because with the new update, they might not know all the capabilities of it. And I'm sure some things have changed. Like things that so the old engine had it a certain way, but now the new engine adds a bunch more tools and a bunch of other stuff that they're kind of going like, we got to do a review of this before we figure out what's going on. Does that make sense? Because like I notice is sometimes you get updates on certain things, or think about it this way. When Windows updates on your PC, it usually fucks everything up. and that's just because it adds new features and changes a bunch of things. So then you have to go back and redo everything. So
super freaking annoying too.
All right, so I think I have the perfect question to end us out on here. So we know that Nikita's already said that, like the previous patch, this new patch, the patch notes will not be made available ahead of time. He specifically in his podcast with Pesley and them was saying that was not going to talk about everything having to do with the new update. He wanted to have some surprises. So, conspiracy theory time. One thing that's completely outlandish that you hope would be in it, and one thing that reasonably could be one of those surprises.
All right. So what I think something is realistic that's going to be in there is I think Scav AI is going to get better.
Oh, that's your realistic one?
I think my realistic one is that they've already started making stuff. They've already made them moving differently. I think an implementation that they're going to add in is that scavs move more like players, especially from a distance, that you're not going to be able to tell the difference. It's not going to be that they have an area that they just patrol, or they kneel down next to a body. I think they're going to make that AI move a lot smoother to where you almost don't know where that scav's going to be when you round the corner.
Yeah, instead of having like a set route.
Yeah. Now, something very outlandish.
Yes.
I think the in-game trader is going to be in Lighthouse.
Oh yeah, that's already been been confirmed.
No, but what I'm saying is in the first iteration, what they were talking about having scav boss and no trader, like that first iteration, they're going to have
the location on the map itself, like in the lighthouse.
No, I think they're going to have the trader because they already said that the trader's not going to be there, or something's not going to be there right off the bat. But I feel like the outlandish it's going to be there. They're just
so that was the question, Fuzo. It's with the newest patch, since Nikita said he wants this to be surprised and he's not releasing any patch notes, and there's specific things he wasn't talking about on the podcast. Two things. One, think of a reasonable surprise that you could actually expect to see, and then pick an outlandish surprise that you would love to.
Okay.
You go ahead.
A reasonable surprise that I would like to see would be underbarrel grenade launchers. I know that they are releasing the Scar. They have not said what style of Scar they're releasing, whether it's the Scar H, the Scar L, the Scar S. But regardless, I know they're releasing that and a few different AK platforms, which are all known to have an underbarrel grenade launcher. So that is something I would like to see. I would also like to see, along with that, flashbang rounds for the grenade launcher that are much cheaper than the normal round because they're flashbang.
So what would be your outlandish one? Your outlandish surprise?
I want to see LMGs, light machine guns. I would love to be able to go into raid with a freaking M60 with a bipod on it, sit down on top of something and just
no. Oh God.
Love that idea. I love that idea.
It's gonna take a lot of coding because if they're gonna bring in an LMG, they need to do it right. And that LMG needs to be able to rip through some shit.
Could you imagine, just real quick, I just picture this in your head for like 2 seconds, because obviously Gluhar would spawn with that gun.
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine like a level 5 Timmy taking out Gluhar and picking up an M60 light machine gun and a bunch of rounds and trying to walk to the extract?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Like that starter straight, you're like, ah!
Oh my God.
You're not going to be able to handle the M60 without being overweight until you build up some strength.
Yeah.
But better. Could you imagine thinking you're big and bad after Gluhar gets this M60 and you go to get him and all of a sudden he lays down and he's just shooting straight through a brick wall at you? You just see every third round tracer. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, I'm terrified at that point. Hell, I get
Yeah.
terrified if he has the M1 and I hear that thing start popping off.
Oh,
So-
jeez.
So my reasonable surprise will be that the optimizations is going to increase frame rates across the board. I believe that's possible right now. And I think that we're going to see I think reasonably we're going to be very surprised by how well a number of these optimizations are going to help this game run. 'Cause I think we're very close to that aspect. The
That's a fair one.
wild speculated surprise I would like to see. That we will get in and we actually have the entire lighthouse map. Like it's done. Surprise. We were fucking with you. It's finished.
Oh, so you're saying
Because
every iteration that they plan on having out there is going to be out there right off the bat?
the only thing that will be missing is we won't see that trader add other content until that content is ready to roll.
I got you. I
That
think
would
those
be
are good.
And making
Yeah,
that
big
for
shout
us
out
kind of
to
short notice.
Crazer. He's a mod in my channel. You guys know him, but he did the whole overlay, put this all together for us really quickly.
This is why we love our mods. Thank you,
Yeah.
mods. We love you.
Yeah, I recommend
are
him
the-
highly. But this is going to happen every 2 weeks. So thank you guys seriously so much. Fuzo, thank you. Hatter, thank you. Thank you guys for doing this, man. I know we've talked about it for a while, but this has been exhilarating and
we've been
fun
talking
and
about doing this for
nerve-wracking.
ages.
Yes.
It's been a little bit of
Absolutely.
everything, and I appreciate it.
We did get chat. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We really do appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
All right.
Yeah, this was a blast. I'm happy we did it.
Yeah. So with that all being
All right.
said, yeah, we'll see you
Yeah,
guys
I'm
later. All right.
I'm
Bye,
gonna come
guys.
back, yeah.